Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have made it to week 16. It is Thursday night football. If you have questions, I'll get them answered. Guess what? Found out it is official. Devontae Adams is out. That means guy everybody's wanted all week to know how good Colby Parkinson is going to be is set up to see it tonight because, in theory, he should be the one getting all the targets that Parkinson more than likely, or that Adams would have. It's probably going to be split between him and Ferguson, as well as Tutu Atwell is the other one who conveniently should be another option if you are looking. But another thing to know, you guys, if it's a slow start, you're going to be in trouble because looking at the weather, it does look like the second half of the day is going to be windy. So I'm lowering expectations just a little bit because the second half is going to be tough. It really kicks up right around the second half. The first half should be fine, but it is going to be close for sure. So get your questions asked. I will answer them, starting with Brent. How's it going, Brent? PPR, Moore, Mitchell, Estime, Fannin, Tracy, or Buka. Of these, I'm probably going to go Moore. It's pretty big upside with now Odunze and Burden already being out. Definitely makes it interesting. Think he offers a lot of upside. However, if you want to play it safe, I completely understand. I think Tracy would be the safe play if you are looking for that in particular. All right. Then we got RF. Do I play Seattle Seahawks tonight? Really depends on other options at the defensive spot because there are a handful of other ones that I'd much rather prefer. I do have the Seahawks as my number 9. I do have the Rams ahead of them. That, again, is because, unnoticed by most people, the Seahawks will be without a tackle, which means the Rams should be able to put a lot of pressure on Darnold, which also has me lowering the rest of the supporting cast for the Seahawks in their offense. Unfortunately, it should be a little bit of a tick down. Okay, Stategrad, Stafford or Dart? Again, I think Stafford is a much safer play. I have them separated by, 5 spots, with Stafford being at my number 9, which is, again, the wind has me a little nervous. I'm tempted to lower him behind Stroud and maybe even Love, but it's very difficult. Dart offers a somewhat safe floor because of his rushing. However, the risk is definitely there. So, all right, RF, Gadsden, Hunter Henry, Schultz, or Waller for tight end. At this point, I'm going to roll with Schultz. Pretty sure. Yeah. I have Schultz the highest of these. The other thing, as I mentioned, Odunze and Burden being out, that has boosted Loveland ahead of Harold Fannin for me and ahead of Colby Parkinson just barely. So definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. So Jerome, should I start Baker over Stafford or JJ McCarthy? Not over Stafford. It's close with JJ. It's really going to be coming down to what you're kind of looking for. I have them back to back. I think Baker is a little safer. However, the upside is a lot more significant for JJ. It's just so much risk involved with what I've seen from him, and him just not connecting with Jefferson has been an issue. So, BTFU need to choose 2 to start at quarterback: Stafford, Caleb, Darnold, and Rodgers. It's definitely going to be Stafford, and then I'm pretty sure it's Caleb. Where's Darnold? No, Darnold's after that. And Rodgers is after that. So, yeah, it's going to be Stafford and Williams. First 2 makes it easy. Bunch of numbers. Pick in. Yep, I get it. I like all of these options. I like Lamar and Lawrence. I think you have this rated correctly. I do have Lamar high at 5. However, with how Lawrence is playing, I completely understand if you want to roll that out. I do think he has the opportunity. However, his success has really come when he's not being pressured, and Broncos can actually pressure him. So I'm a little more nervous on that. I'll be curious to see how significant of a drop. I have him currently dropping 4 points, which would put him around the 16 to 18 range as compared to the 2022 that you've been getting. Okay, state grad. You're flexing 2. Waller. I'm definitely playing BTJ. And I would play Rodriguez. I just don't like any of this. I think I go with the upside that DK kind of provides. I also can kind of see playing Waller. It's the half that really hurts Waller. If it was a full PPR, it'd definitely be Waller, but I don't see him getting a whole lot of yards, unfortunately. So I'd much rather go with BTJ, who's kind of that big play guy. And then I'm also looking at people who are more likely to score. And so because of that, I'm also kind of leaning Rodriguez for that reason. So, all right, Jerome. If MHA's play, should I start Coker, Mike Wilson? I still have Wilson higher. It does drop him from my 7 to 22, which is still above Coker. So, Zioli, Stafford, Brissett, Dart, Stroud. Brissett's definitely the safest play. So I'm rolling with Brissett. I think he's the safest option of these. If you are chasing upside, I completely understand if you want to roll Dart, but the trust I have in Brissett is just incredible because since he's become the starter, he has yet to go under 18 fantasy point. Sorry, had to make sure I knocked down wood, but yeah. Tamara, I'm assuming this is supposed to be Waller. In any case, I'm probably going to go Parkinson. If it's Walker, I'm scared of it, and Waller, I still have a couple of spots behind Parkinson. So, Cecilio, Chiefs or Rams defense. I'm pretty sure I have the Chiefs higher. I do. I have the Chiefs higher by 2 spots. So, dropped it down a little bit because I am a little nervous. This could be a trap game, and I'm unsure of what this team is going to look like, not being in the hunt for playoffs. So, wonder what the motivator is going to be. Katasha, Parkinson, or Jacoby Myers. That's a good one. If it's PPR, I'm probably still going to go Myers. If it is half or standard, then I would go Parkinson. And then Bucky or Dowdle. I have Bucky higher, but I don't like either of them. Both are low-end RB2s. You're welcome, BTFU. Peter Gabriel. Waller or Parkinson. I still have Parkinson. Yep. It's not so much Ewers. I'm more worried about the fact that I think he's going to be under pressure. And while Waller has a good matchup, it makes me... I have to see what Ewers does. So, Daniel, you made it. Fannin and Parkinson. I still have Parkinson higher. And then I'm picking 2 flexes. At that point, it's Swift and Tracy. So you're playing... Wait. No, so if I switch them. I would then go Swift and Fannin. I'd play the tight end. I know I don't like doing that, but I have to. All right, BTFU, you got some help with the flex. Tracy, Pollard, Gadsden, or Coker. I think this really comes down to what you need. I think Coker offers the most upside. However, if you are wanting a solid floor, I'm going to roll out Tracy. Jorge, Alberto, Fannin, or Parkinson. I think it's still Fannin barely. No, it is. It is Parkinson with whatchamacallit being out. So I have Parkinson just barely ahead. Camera. Yep. Okay. Yeah. I'm still playing Parkinson there, especially in a tight end premium. I think that definitely benefits you. Zioli, pick 3, half EPR. JSN, Chase, Evans, Waddle, Olave. Is it the first 3? I'm actually probably going to go JSN, Olave. Well, I have to double check. I think it's JSN, Olave, Evans. Nope, you're right. I do actually have it that way. JSN, Chase, and Evans. I have Waddle or Olave really close. Him and Evans are back to back, so I'd be fine switching those out if you need to. Patriot Etch, Myers, Tonight, or Fairbairn. Because of the wind, I'm going to roll Fairbairn. I am a little more nervous on that, and the fact that it has been raining up to this point does make me a little more hesitant. It does look, and it's going to rain again. The rain stops and the wind picks up. So it's at that point that you start seeing the 20 per mile an hour gusts, which I'm not looking forward to at all. Angela, how's it going? Have Pollard in the flex. Should I pick up Parkinson or Schultz? Flex one of them instead. Yeah, I'm fine playing either of them in PPR. I understand you wanted to play Pollard, but the matchup still isn't super. I really like the workload that he's been seeing, but again, trusting that is just so risky. I'd much rather roll either of them. I have Parkinson as my tight end 7 and Schultz as my tight end 10, which also have them in PPR around 12 fantasy points floors. So Katashi, Debo, or Waller. There is where I'm going to trust Waller. I just don't know what the Commanders are going to look like. I mean, I've been so iffy on them, and so it's too hot and cold for me. I'd much rather go with what I know. And Waller has one of the better matchups this week. So Chisad, literally have them back to back with the Vikings one spot ahead. So Daniel Eberhardt, Parkinson, Warren, or Schultz. It is still, I think it's still Parkinson there. Yep, I have it Parkinson, Schultz, Warren. What's up, Polo? Do I start Quorum? I have Josh Jacobs, Aaron. Given the other options, I'd prefer the other options. I get kind of wanting to play him because we're uncertain if Jacob plays. However, if Jacob does play and you have Quorum, I think you've kind of hindered yourself, especially in this game. While Quorum is likely to score, I really have him maxed out about 10 fantasy points for this week. So not an ideal situation. Whoops. Matt Kelby, Kyron, or Jalen? And I'm going to go Williams there. Even with the split, I much prefer in PPR. I can't trust Warren. I love Gainwell too much. Now, if this was Kyron Williams or Gainwell, that'd be a conversation I'd be willing to have. But with it being Warren, I'm out because he really needs a touchdown to be what you're expecting. And Kyron is just too good, especially, I know this matchup isn't ideal, but even with it being tough, I currently have Kyron at 16, which granted, I know is low. But compared to Warren, I have Warren at 29. So it's light and day between the two. You're welcome, okay, State grad. Judkins or Henderson? That's a good one. I have Henderson. I still think that the opportunities are going to be there. While I think Judkins can score, I think Henderson is more likely to bust a bigger run, and I think that's more likely to help and benefit your team. BTFU, last one. Purdy, Burrow, or Brissett? It's Purdy for me. Matt Kelble, Kyron Williams, Jay Warren, or Mike Evans. That's going to be Evans. That's where that jump makes. I'm playing Evans all day. Justin like a boss. Seahawks or Saints? I'm rolling the Saints. Jerome, need a running back, tight end, and a flex. So I'm picking 3 in full PPR. It's going to be Loveland, Parkinson, and Williams. Like your other options, but I'm not willing to trust. Carter has a risk of DeMarcado potentially vulturing him. Estime, while I do think has the opportunity, the trust isn't quite there for me. I'd much rather go with the things that I know and have seen a good volume amount with. And so while I like Estime, the issue is, again, Evan Hull is still there, and I'm just not quite sure what the roles are going to look like and how that's going to end up shaking up. So I'd much rather go with Parkinson, Loveland, and Kyron. However, I would make sure Parkinson is in my tight end since he does play tonight. So that would allow you that if you're really chasing upside on Sunday and I still think Loveland's the most upside, Or if you get really ahead and you think you can play it safe, I'd then go Michael Carter. Gives you the opportunity and keeps you relatively safe at the position. So, you're welcome, BTFU. And of course, happy to help, Matt. If you guys have questions, please get them asked. Otherwise, I will be bouncing out of here. Let you guys watch this game because it's going to be interesting, but you have to watch it quick because it's still raining for the next hour and a half, it looks like. So, not an ideal situation. Mikey, Shaheed, Gainwell, Jameson, D. Smith. So, you need 5. Okay. Jameson, Smith, Jennings, Myers, Gainwell. That's how I would do it. I like Chase Brown, but compared to everybody else, I can't trust Chase Brown. So I'm not really willing to roll him out there. It's too terrifying. Katashi doesn't Dowdle have 100. Yeah, but at that same point, this is not the matchup. This is a tough matchup, and while the his issue, I get the 150 scrimmage yards, completely fine. However, they don't use him in the passing game nearly as much as Chuba Hubbard. Hubbard is seeing a majority of the work as well as the goal line work, which really is just tanking Dowdle. And so in a game where the Buccaneers are usually pretty strong between the tackles, they do really give it up to pass-catching backs. And so that really is what's holding me back on Dowdle, unfortunately, is just if I knew Vita Vea was going to be out or I knew they had a couple of O-line holes, completely be on board. But it's too much risk to try and have Dowdle going for it. So, Ryan, glad you made it. Pick one, half PPR, 100-yard bonus. Okay. Oh, none of those are probably going to hit 100 yards. So I think I'm going to go with the guy I know is going to score, and that's going to be Parkinson. It's really close between Parkinson and Andrews because they both are likely to score. However, we have seen what Adams has done. So if he's out, the understanding is going to be really split between Parkinson and Ferguson. And so makes it interesting to see how that works out. Sada T if he goes, Ibuka or Jacoby. If T goes, you have to play him, unfortunately. He would immediately jump ahead of all of those. However, if he does not go, it's going to be Myers. You're welcome, Mikey. All right, Mike McMahon. Tyler Warren or Colby Parkinson? Yep. I'm still sticking with Parkinson. While I like Warren and the matchup for him, Rivers makes me more nervous because it is going to be shorter area targets. I'm just worried that we saw a couple of decent throws to Warren, but I didn't like how the ball was coming out. It's still a little wobbly. I'm hoping that gets a little tighter spiral on it with more reps, but I just don't think Rivers has the arm right now. So going to go with Parkinson with the more opportunity to likely score a touchdown. So, all right. Well, if you guys don't have any more questions, I am going to bounce out. Going to say good luck in week 16. Hopefully this is a nice start. You get off just fine. We're all hoping for 2 to 3 Parkinson touchdowns because I think that will really benefit you. Even if it gets 2 and gets 60 yards, I think you'd be pretty happy. And I would probably say that's 5 or 6 targets or receptions, unnecessary targets. But see how that ends up working out. Angela, just under the wire. Pick 2. Fannin, Pollard, Parkinson. Yeah, it's PPR. I still think I'm going to go Parkinson and Fannin. I like what Pollard's been doing, but again, my worry is the Chiefs have been really good against the run. But with them likely being out, it makes me very nervous for this game. I'm not sure what they're going to do. So while I want to play Pollard's more of an upside swing. I know what Parkinson and Fannin are kind of going to do. I have a general area on it, but it makes me iffy. Ryan, full PPR, pick one, Bowers or Colby Parkinson. That's still going to be Bowers for me. I do have Bowers higher. by I think it's 3 spots. Yep, 3 spots. He's my tight end 4. He could be in a tight end 3 if London is set to play. Pitts would then drop quite a bit. So, Jerome, based on your answer, is it not crazy to start Stafford, Kyron, and Parkinson? I don't love Kyron, but he is an RB2, and if that's how you are setting it up, then I'm fine rolling that out. I do think there is risk with both Stafford and Kyron, but the benefit to that is with the Seahawks potentially, like I said, Seahawks are going to be without at least one tackle. They rolled them out Tuesday, which is very quiet. So if I know that another one was dealing with injury, and so that really makes it a big jump for him. So it definitely makes it interesting. Ryan Bowers has been shaky, but you got to play him. Yeah, unfortunately. And this is a little bit easier of a matchup for him because I don't think he's going to see Stingley, thankfully. And they're going to try and move him around a little bit more, and I do think that it's going to be a little bit easier. However, I am super nervous that if it is Geno, that scares me a little more. So, Brooke, Hurry, Rams or Chargers? I have them both right in my top 12. With the Rams, it's going to be the Rams still. Like I said, Seattle doesn't have a tackle playing, and I think that allows for more pressure and will potentially put Darnold under dealing with a lot of injury. And so with that in mind, I do expect the Rams to kind of take control of this. I am a little nervous with it having rained and will be raining for the start of the game, how that'll end up affecting them, but I do think it benefits them just a little bit more. You're welcome, Ryan. Happy to help, Angela. All right. Oh, with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Good luck. I will be back on Sunday to answer all of your questions. And if you are here to get any bets in, that is tomorrow's show. Tomorrow is the betting show. So if you're interested in that at all, go ahead and get it done. So, nope. Guys, coming in quick. Getting lucky. Next week, I don't know about next week. I have to see what Jawan does this week. With Neil out, I'm very curious to watch Jawan. And then, so I'll be watching that a little more closely, specifically this week. I'd be fine probably dropping him because I think that Adams is actually pretty close to playing. So, purely sell. You wouldn't start Colby Parkinson over Swift or Tyron Tracy at flex. If it's a tight end premium, I would. If it's PPR, I might start him over Tracy. I just don't like the opportunities that are going to be there. I think that this is a game that either gets over quickly or is a slug match, and I don't like that. The last time they play, I'm pretty sure the final score is 19-16, which is ugly. So rather not mess with that if I can. And so you're really hoping Parkinson scores. Like I said, I think he's set up for 2, but we'll see. And Swift is one of my favorite matchups this week, so I'm rolling out Swift. Ray Gamer, should I be nervous of Jason Myers because of weather? I don't like the Bucs kicker nearly as much, but I'm fine rolling out Gonzalez. I'm pretty sure that's who the kicker is still. He's been bouncing around, so I'm unsure if that's who it still is or not. Then Ryan, yeah, okay, you got it in. That's a good one. I think it's still May. Let me double check. Sorry. Yeah, I have them back to back at 1 and 2. So I have May higher because I do think that Ravens are actually going to put a little pressure on because they have something to play for. So have May ahead of him. But all right. I'm out of here. I'm going to go eat some dinner and watch some football. Hope you all have a wonderful Week 16. As I said, tomorrow will be the betting show locked in at 8, 7 Central. Would you play Bray? Would you play Jefferson, Ibuka, Reed, and non-PPR? Of those, I'm probably going to play Ibuka in non-PPR. Would you play Burrow, Lamar? I would play Lamar. Yeah, and I would definitely play Lamar. Again, I am super nervous with what Burrow. We talked about it in depth yesterday, and how nervous we are around Burrow. While we still have him in the top 12, at 7, it's really risky because it's something mental at this point. So, all right, good luck. I'm out of here. Have a good week, and remember, as always, to keep up the nonsense. We'll see y'all Sunday.